So, watu wangu ni aje? Welcome to the Kenyan American Home Maze YouTube channel yangu. Karibu sana for everyone who's tuning in for the first time. Karibu, feel free, welcome to this family Maze. Hapa hivi tunakuaga nothing but good vibes. And the show leo, the guest that I have today, it's someone, it's one of us. It's a Kenyan who's wazazi wake walikuja hapa hivi, and so ali grow up hapa hivi, alafu she has an amazing story. Alafu kuna mahali tunaenda. So we'll go through the journey of yeye from the time alikuwa nini to the point amefika, na tuongee about modeling, Miss Kenya USA and all those so many things. But I'm excited for you guys to hear the story of of our friend. And so without much further ado, welcome Miss Rose Waithera. Karibuni sana. Nini naleta mouse inaleta mbadala. But welcome sana Rose. How are you doing today?
Thank you. I'm good, Owen. Thank you.
Hey, can you speak Swahili?
Kidogo.
Kidogo?
Siwezi ongea.
Siwezi ongea.
Yeah, but Kikuyu, we go different. Kikuyu.
Wait, so you can actually speak Kikuyu, but you cannot speak Swahili?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Wait, what? Like, can you speak fluent Kikuyu?
A good amount.
Okay.
There's a struggle here and there, but it's I speak a good amount.
Well, tell me something. Oh, that's I'm laughing because it's it's very interesting. Raising kids here in the US, you often struggle. Like the biggest struggle people have is you're raising your kids.
Yeah.
You want them to know your language, but the problem is, oftentimes the friends they have, they speak English. The teachers that teach them in English, and so it's very hard to be able to pass on a language to them. And so sometimes what parents do is they take their kids, maybe go take them to Kenya for like summer, so that they can stay there and have to learn a language there. Mm-hmm. But oftentimes I think most parents teach their kids Swahili. It's easier to teach Swahili than it is to teach Kikuyu.
Mine were on reverse. They spoke Kikuyu mostly in the house, so I think that's how I up with it. English was not our main one, as you said. We spoke in school, but my parents spoke Kikuyu all the time in the house. They're not Swahili speakers, so I think that's exactly why they're speakers. So that's what me and my brother grew up on.
Okay, so you just pick up on it, or did they because I don't know how you teach Kikuyu to your child, because I don't even think there's a curriculum that you can teach
Kikuyu.
Yeah, it's like, because Swahili, there's maybe Swahili, they teach you, these are the vowels, this is so there's kind of a structure, but I don't know about Kikuyu and teaching. How do you teach Kikuyu in what's the alphabet in Kikuyu?
Oh, that one I don't know. Truthfully, I don't know even.
No, I think a lot of people when it comes to like their mother tongue, a lot of people they can speak the language,
mm-hmm.
but they cannot write the language.
Oh no, I cannot write.
Yeah, because it's that's not we just learn by listening.
Yep.
And then you listen, and that's kind of how you learn to talk. But someone tells you to write down what you're talking, you don't know what.
Or like reading. I know we used to have Kikuyu Bibles.
Okay. So, those ones are difficult.
Oh yeah, they're trying to get me reading. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I have so many funny stories on that, because sometimes you give somebody who doesn't know how to read, then they'll read a totally different story than what's actually written.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, welcome Rose. So who is Rose? Introduce yourself to my people. Who is Rose? Someone asks Rose, who's Rose?
Me. Well, Rose was a girl born in Kenya. I was born December 26th, 94. Let me give you everything because I think my birthday also contributes to a lot. I'm the day after Christmas baby, a Boxing Day baby. And yeah, horrible. Uh, and then in 2001, we moved to America. So I was 6 years old with my mom, my dad, and my brother. And we've been living in the state of Massachusetts ever since. Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
Yeah, I've been living in Massachusetts. Fun.
Wait. So did your parents move? Wait, how did your parents come to the US?
So my dad always had that vision of coming to America because it's the promised land, it's the land of opportunities. So originally he was intending to come on a student visa, but he tried. He did not get any visas. He didn't get anything.
Okay.
I think he tried a total of 4 times, but
Well, coming as a student, and
he
he
had
got
applying every time, or not even just as a student, just getting visas or trying to find any way of coming to America. I can't remember exactly how many times he tried, but he tells us the story frequently, and just it was a challenge for him. And he told me how he even went to pray in the woods to get this opportunity to come to America. He wrote a note to God to get this opportunity to come, and then we ended up winning a green card.
Yeah. Whoa.
Yeah.
That's an encouraging story for a lot of people people who've tried like applying for visas and they keep getting denied. So it's school didn't work out for your dad, but then the green card did work out for your dad.
The bigger picture after the fact, yeah.
So did your dad come first, or did he bring all of you?
It was actually a struggle because financially we did not have the finances. So he intended to just come on his own at one point. But my grandmother, who is a prayer warrior and just beyond all things amazing, I love her. She's like, you're not leaving them behind. So she found all ways. She was selling her clothes to try to money. She was finding loans to try to get money to just get us all here, and all 4 of us were able to come to America.
Okay. So did you all come together in one plane, or did you did?
All together in one plane. And the crazy part is we came the month after September 11th. We came in October.
Oh, wait. Okay. Because I know like they had grounded a lot of flights. Was it like after they opened up the flights, then you guys were able?
Came, but I didn't know any of this, I was 6 years old.
You're 6 years old.
Yeah. But after the fact, after learning about it, like, wait, we came in October? The date, like the month, like a month right after September.
After September 11th, yeah.
So.
Wow. So you all came. Did you get a host, or how did that work out? Because that's one of the things that is a struggle when it comes to, like, if you win a green card or you're coming to the US and you have kids, people often ask like, what do I do with kids? Do I come by myself first and then kind of like, get a job, save up enough money to get an apartment so then I can bring up my family? Or can we all just come together as a family? Like, did somebody host you? Because it's like 4 of you, right?
Yeah, 4 of us. My uncle, so we had an uncle who came here on a visa as well, and he hosted us. And we ended up coming to live in his 2-bedroom apartment after he was married.
Wait, like 2-bedroom apartment?
Yeah.
And it was the 4 of you?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. So how was that?
All 4 of us in a room. On the floor.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Do you remember much of it? You were 6 years old.
I do remember certain things because even after that, 2 of my other aunties came. So in total, we were at 8 in the house. So, and we joke around with one of my aunts because she used to watch The Bold and the Beautiful.
Oh yeah. Oh, back in the day.
Yeah, she's an older auntie. So I just remember sitting down, which was good. I really enjoyed it. It was congested, but it was fun. We know when we had to make sure we woke her up to watch that Bold and Beautiful. We played games all the time. Yeah, it was a blessing to have like my aunt and uncle. They were just newlyweds. They had just gotten married, and then they took us all in.
And then they just hosted all of you guys. Wow.
Yeah.
That is that. Oh, that's cool. It's cool. It's cool to hear. And you know, you talk about the bold and the beautiful. I think. Uh,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
It was.
that was back in the day. I remember watching the Bold and the Beautiful. It's one of those shows that was like never ending, and the kids would be like, go to sleep when the Bold and the Beautiful starts."
We had to wake her up to make sure she didn't miss it. She
She
would tell us.
didn't-
She was like, Rose and karaoke. Like, don't forget. I have to come old and beautiful. She used to do like overnights and then she'll come, she'll wake, she will go take a nap. But when the show comes, she's there to watch it. It was cute.
Wow. But that's really awesome that your uncle, like, just being recently married would, you know, take on that. You don't find that many people who would be willing to open their doors, you know, because it's like mathematically it doesn't add up. Like, two bedrooms, how are you going to take in a whole family of four people, plus
Yeah.
also, plus it's not just also just living together, but you also have to think about the bills will be higher because the food budget and all those so many things. Man, that's like, yeah, your uncle seems like someone with a big golden heart. That's awesome.
He's an amazing one.
That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. So how long did you guys stay at his place? And then before you answer that, it's you, because you say uh you came to Massachusetts. There's a stereotype about, especially Kikuyus and
Mhm.
Massachusetts, is a lot of them live in is it Lowell? Lowell?
There's Lowell, yeah, but
Is that where your uncle lived?
no,
Okay. Your
he
uncle
lived
didn't live in Lowell.
in Worcester.
Oh,
Worcester.
Worcester. Oh,
Worcester.
yeah. For people, yeah, just to give people kind of a brief an understanding of Massachusetts. Massachusetts is one of the, is it, wait, how many states are in New England? Is it five or
Yeah, wait, the main ones, yeah.
yeah? Because it's, wait, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Maine? Is Maine?
Maine, New York,
New,
Vermont. Oh,
no,
wait.
I don't think that's part of New England. So like
Oh,
New England is, it's yeah, it's kind of a group of states that, man, the accent in Massachusetts is, I feel like it's the most, yeah, it's not the I'm not gonna say anything bad about their accent, but they speak like the British. They're called New England because there's I don't know the whole history about how why they were called New England, but they like a lot of, yeah, when you hear the accent that people speak in Massachusetts, you can tell there's a British, there's some British accent in there somewhere hidden in there. And so Massachusetts has really difficult names.
mm,
So it's like even the name Massachusetts, not a lot of people are able to say Massachusetts. A lot of people say Massachusetts, whatever it is. It's like, and she so let me actually it's funny you say that. Let me write for the people. Uh
how
how
does it?
Yeah, so your uncle lived in wait, is it, I can't even type it. It's
You
how
can't spell
I can't spell it. What's uh
Worcester.
Worcester?
Wor-
Uh
Worcester.
spell it for me. Do you
Worcester.
Cester?
Mm-hmm.
Is it Shire? Or
Oh
you,
no,
you don't say?
that's a sauce.
Ah, so is it just Worcester?
Yeah, it's just Worcester.
Okay, like
There.
that.
Hmm.
Okay, so yeah, I don't know. So that's the name. I think anybody who's from Kenya would probably read that. Is it Worcester?
What's that stuff? Yeah.
Worcester. Worcester. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's actually Worcester.
Mm.
Yeah.
And we have lost there. We have so many different. Mm,
Yeah. So these like names that are really hard to pronounce. It's
Minister.
yeah. All right. So you moved to the US, live in this 2-bedroom apartment.
Yeah.
And then did you live there a long time or did you move out
I
after?
stayed 3 years. I'm not sure. I can't remember how many years we stayed there, but we literally. So it's the apartment complex. We literally just moved up a floor. So when my parents were able to
Afford?
afford it, we
Yeah.
ended up moving right upstairs. So uncle
Um,
downstairs, and then we lived right there on the second floor.
okay, okay. So how was it growing up in America? I mean, 6 years, I don't know how much you remember of your life back in Kenya.
Yeah.
I
um.
I personally don't remember very much about when I was 6 years old.
Hmm.
And so I don't know how was that switch from living in Kenya to all of a sudden growing up in America? And like how has that been for you?
Certain things that I remember when I was like under 6. I remember walking to school, and skipping school at the same time too, and getting, my whoopings because of not going to school. I guess I was a little troublemaker. I guess that's what my parents said when I was a little younger. Um, but that freedom of walking by myself or playing outside by myself, that's what I was used to. So living in America or in Massachusetts is so different to have that freedom at that young age. Um, at one point, we even had DCF called on us,
Wait, DCF is that what's DCF?
a Department of Child,
Oh,
yeah, not
okay.
DCF, but like just a family services to see if like the
Yeah,
child was left.
child.
So we were not left alone because in a Kenyan like in a village or in a Kenyan community, everyone's watching out for you.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we were in our apartment. Me and my brother were in the apartment, but on the third floor was another Kenyan family that took care of us all the time.
Okay.
And there was a little lady across from us who thought that we are all alone. So she called the police on us. And then they're like, "Where's your parents? Why y'all left alone?" So we ended up like my uncle lives right here. We're just going up and down, but just not having that freedom, that was difficult. And also the city that we lived in before, so there's Millbury and there's Worcester.
Hmm.
The city that we lived in was predominantly like white.
Okay.
I was the only black student in that class.
In class.
The only black student who did not speak English in that class.
Oh, because you just came from Kenya
Just me.
and wait, do you remember what language you were speaking? Were you speaking Kikuyu when you
Ah, Swahili.
so wait, so so living in Kenya, you're actually speaking Swahili.
I was speaking
Then you
Swahili.
move and then you move to the US where they don't speak Swahili in classes. They
And I
just
read,
speak and you can't speak English.
yeah,
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. You said something very interesting there that I just want to bring up for a lot of people who don't know this, that like back home when we grew up, our parents would pretty much send us away in the morning and like just go play. Go play and then you'll come back when just come back before it's too late. And so it's like they would not look after like we wouldn't have to be under our parents' supervision because
Mhm.
that's kind of how we grew up. And sometimes you like your mom is gone too much. You just kind of grow up with your friends. And then people move to the US and they want to do the same thing,
You can't.
but you can't do the same thing because here you cannot leave your child. at home by themselves until they're like, is it 13?
13.
13 years old.
Mm.
So if you just leave your child or just go tell your child to go play outside by themselves, yeah, you might get a knock on the door from child services.
Yeah.
And if you keep doing that, they might actually take your kids away from you because they call that neglect. You're neglecting your kids. So that's a big culture shock, I'm sure, for your parents.
It was huge because they needed to do interviews after. But luckily, like my uncle, like we call him uncle. You know, everyone is an uncle, but that one, that was a family friend that we called.
Okay.
They were just upstairs, and they were just like, they'll take care of us because we play with their kids. So it was just one of those things that were just in the apartment. But after that, they had to go through interviews. My parents had to go through interviews just to go, yeah.
Okay. So then you find yourself, going to class, and you're the only black student. How is it? Was it hard for you? Was there like did you kind of did you stand out a lot?
I stood out a lot. I had so many embarrassing moments, like not knowing how to request to go to the bathroom, like yeah, it was just it was some embarrassing moments that are stuck in my head because I remember that. But even communicating with people or just having friends, it just felt so alone.
Oh
It was
man.
it was really lonesome for a couple of years, and I was there from first grade until third grade. One of the teachers was very supportive after when she found out that I could actually learn. I can speak English.
Uh-huh.
So by my third by third grade, she was like, Rose, you have excelled so much. You're doing so good. You speak English now.
For people who don't know what third grade is, it's the same as class 3. Class 3 back home is third grade here. Well, I totally understand what you're saying, because so when I came to the US, actually, I moved to North Dakota. North Dakota is like, North Dakota doesn't have very many black people because black people don't like cold. And North Dakota is cold next to Minnesota. I don't know why there's so many, like, I don't know why Kisis love Minnesota that much, because it's cold. So like North Dakota doesn't have black people. I was the same way. It's just that I was an adult, and I did my master's there, but I was like I was the only black student there. And I know what you're saying when everyone else is white, and oftentimes I don't know if it's from stereotypes or where it comes from. It's sometimes they kind of feel like maybe he can't speak English, or he is not intelligent. Like when when they assign you for like group assignments,
Yeah.
it's so interesting how they like exclude you before you say anything. And so I did, like, one of my first classes, I did that. And like I was assigned to this group, and it was all American students. And so we would go, go meet together, and they would all talk, and nobody's giving you an opportunity to talk or even asking you to say anything.
Yeah.
And it's like, so this was actually very funny. There were like 6 of us. I was the only black kid there, and it was 5 Americans. And so I had done this back in like the University of Nairobi. Yeah, we were given, so I knew what we were doing. But they were like, we went first meeting, like we're talking, they're talking. It's like I want to say something, but it's like I'm not being given it's because when they talk, especially when it's your first time in the US, they speak so fast, and you're like, it's kind of like you're waiting to be given an opportunity to actually speak.
Yeah.
But you don't get that. And so the whole time they were like this, because and coming from Kenya, your English, we don't speak English all the time. We're intelligent.
Yeah.
But it's like, for me growing up, I speak Sheng, I speak Swahili, I speak Kikuyu. I don't speak English, we only speak, they forced us to speak English back in Kenya and
Mm.
making us wear, so all these will know what Monto is. They made you wear something. It's kind of something disgusting
Mhm.
if you would speak in another language other than English, because they were trying to force us to learn how to communicate in English.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so like they talked. I'm like, I cannot, because like my accent was really thick. And I'm like waiting to be given an opportunity, because they were like giving wrong ideas to what
Mm.
the assignment was. So like we speak for like almost a whole hour.
Mhm.
And then they're like getting done, and they're like, done, okay, we have a plan. This is how we're gonna do it. And then finally they keep quiet. They're not even asking me anything. I didn't contribute anything for the whole hour. And then I just cleared my throat and I said something, and I kind of like started to speak. And it's so interesting. You see the look in their faces when they realize, oh my gosh, he can actually speak English.
It's like, yes.
Yeah. And then I kind of, because they were going in the wrong direction, and I led them in the right direction.
Fun.
And it's like, to them, it's like, wow. So this guy can actually speak, but he actually can speak some sense. So
Yeah.
so I totally relate with you, kind of being the only Black student in class, and
Mhm.
how sometimes maybe it's stereotypes or things you kind
Mm.
of face those things. But
Yeah.
yeah, but go on. So so you stayed in this school for 3 months, you said?
No, 3 years. I
3 years.
did, yeah, all the way to class 3.
Okay. And then did you move to a different school, or did you guys?
There was so I was going to continuing on with that school to 4th grade, but we ended up moving to now. So that was Millbury. We lived in Millbury. We ended up moving to Worcester, and that's where Worcester is more cultural. Um and I went to this school. It was actually a walking distance from my house. So I used to walk to school. And that one was a diverse crowd where we had Hispanics, we had we had our whites, and we had some blacks, some Africans too. So I started feeling more like fitting in a little bit. And I was speaking English by that time, so I knew my words here and there.
Okay.
And yeah, I went to that school for some time. I finished up 4th grade over there. And then from 5th grade until 12th grade, I went to a charter school, which that one was a very diverse school.
Okay. So there was a variety of nationalities in.
Oh, yeah. We had actually a good amount of Africans there. It
Yeah.
was more West African, but it was good. That's where I ended up feeling more the cultural belongings and just like fitting in, and that built who I am. I believe that being at that school molded me to be who I am.
Okay. Okay. So like for parents of kids who, because you were that kid,
Mm,
what would you tell like parents who, they are like, Kenyan parents, they just recently moved to the US, and they bring in their kids who are whatever, like around the same age, 6 to 10. What
yeah.
would you tell them like to think about? Because I don't, I'm sure this was, your parents were dealing with their own culture shocks, having
Hmm.
to the US and having to adapt to a totally different culture. But
Yes.
you also have to think about kids. What is the one thing that, if you would go back, you would tell a parent who just is planning to move to the US with young kids, or
Hmm.
is already here? What would you tell them about, like, what are some of the things they should watch out for, or be more, I don't know, be more, is it intentional about with their
Yeah.
kids?
Bullying is real. Unfortunately, I was bullied for some time. Um, and just trying to be open with the conversation with the child. I think that's very helpful because creating that relationship, you can be able to, in not to say in the Kenyan world, but we not we weren't able to talk to our parents about what we're going through. They're not aware of what you never had that opportunity to fully like open up and be like, oh, this is what's happening here and here. It's just we're going to school, we're getting our education, but everything else about how we're being treated, it was a bit difficult. I think I gained the courage to like have that conversation with my parents when I was like in sixth grade, when there was a teacher who was not treating me properly. But yeah, having those conversations with your kid, and even just being, for me, I believe a diverse crowd is a better crowd. Being in an area where there's more culture.
Cool. Well, there's a comment I'm gonna read for you. I think it says, "Dad, mom, and your brother Gabe are watching from Kenya. They're saying they love you."
Love you too. Yeah.
That's that. Thank you for sharing that. So listen, parents, listen to your kids. Actually ask the question. Is it ask the question or just listen to them? Want to know how their day is?
Yeah, definitely had those conversations, and try to create that, even because you also have to listen to your parents too. It's now in adulthood I'm really realizing what my parents were going. They were in their 20s in America. I'm in my 20s and in America, but still, it's different. They also were not able to speak English. They were learning. We were all learning in the process. So it's like, okay, mom and dad, you guys are going through similar struggles, but we're also going through the same struggles too. So
Wow. Cool. That's awesome.
Scared and and parent.
Okay, cool. Thank you. No, thank you for sharing that. I think that's super important. So in the whole time, like when you're growing up in the US, did your parents take you back home to Kenya? Or what was your, because this is the other thing that comes up. So you have the American side that these people don't understand you, where you're coming from, kind of like who you are. But then you also have the other side. I'm sure you've experienced this with you don't speak Swahili. And Kenyans are brutal. And yeah, Kenyans are very brutal. It's people who don't like, they don't understand that you just moved to the US when you were 6 years old. There was nobody to teach you Swahili. How's that relationship been for you, like as a Kenyan growing up in America, and then and your interactions with like other Kenyans who actually speak Swahili, and they look at you like, wait, yeah, you're Kenyan, but you don't speak Swahili?
I think for our benefit, the good thing is we're able to understand. It's just we can't respond. And actually, there was one time, me and my brother, it was my grandfather's funeral, and people were talking about us in Swahili. They were having a full on conversation at my grandfather's funeral about us, about these American kids. And me and my brother just looked at each other, and we ended up speaking to you. And we just like, they were mind blown after. And I think we may have thrown some Swahili words here and there just to be like, we heard what you're saying. It was a bit disrespectful, but we've gotten used to it. And luckily, our family back in Kenya is big, and they're very understanding, and we're able to joke around with them. And they're very patient with us as well. So I think having that within our family helped a lot.
It was good. Okay. But I think by this time, then you've dealt with Americans, and so yeah, Kenyans
Y'all are people.
Yeah, and I think this is a good education for maybe Kenyans who it's always good to get to know someone's story, get to know where they're coming from before you jump in and judge them based on, hey, this person can. It's like, it's me and my kids. It's a struggle to teach them like a language from unless you're taking them back home and you're leaving them there for like 3 months or so at a time. It's very expensive to do that. Like you take all your kids back home and you leave them there. But also, you also have to think about security. Are you just gonna leave your kids there for 3 months and but because you also have to pay bills here, it's not like life is stopping for you to just leave America and just go stay with your kids for them to learn this other language. So I mean, I think speaking firsthand, it's one of those things that's really difficult because you're living in a totally different nation. People here don't speak, and especially if you're married to, like, I'm not married to a Kenyan, I'm married to an American. They speak English.
Yeah.
And so that makes it super difficult to be able to then, and you have to be intentional. So I try to be intentional with my kids by speaking Swahili around them. That's why I like to have my channel in Shang Swahili, because it kind of keeps me learning, it keeps me not forgetting where I'm coming from. And then I try to do that with my kids, but it's extremely difficult to be able to like pass that language on to your kids. I mean, good thing is, you have that option of taking your kids back home and having them stay there and learn Swahili. So yeah. Lucy said bullying is so real in these schools. I think Lucy's my good friend. She lives in she's very close to you, actually.
Oh.
In New England. She's saying bullying is real in these schools. Yeah, her daughter went to a predominantly white and Indian schools, and she tells her about that. So
it was difficult. It's difficult. Just being picked on. Picked on also because I was tall, and I was wearing secondhand clothing because I was getting donations. Like, we're new in America. We're getting clothes, which we were grateful for, and I think everybody who gave us those clothes, But it's just growing up during that time. Everyone was just picking on me. I didn't have the best shoes. I didn't have I was just wearing whatever I could wear.
Yeah.
And they really picked on me. Even at the school, 4th grade, I think that the multi school, it was sad. But then the school after, we were wearing uniforms. So that was a good
so everybody it's
cohesive.
all this, there's so many good, I think you're bringing up so many good topics about too, because the other misconception is America is the land of milk and honey. Everybody's rich, and that is not the case. There's a lot of people who are struggling. I mean, poverty is very different. Like when you talk about levels of poverty, Africa versus the US, totally different thing, totally different picture.
Right.
But you have people here who can afford to, they can afford to buy their kids clothes. There are families who actually struggle. So there's actually poverty, not the poverty that people are used to seeing in Kenya or in Tanzania or in Africa, but there's poverty in America, not in the same levels. But there's people who are not able to afford to meet their daily needs, and sometimes they have to rely on the government and all those so many other things. And I think it comes out so much more when you go to a school where everybody gets to wear whatever they want to wear, and then that's when like you stand out because you can't afford to buy Jordans and all those new clothes, and you have all these kids who keep coming to school wearing designer clothes and all those so many things, and the only thing your parents can afford are secondhand clothes. And so that happens in America for people who don't know that, who are back home. America, it's a land of opportunities, yes, but not everybody is blessed the same way. There are people who are struggling. There are people who live below the poverty line, and so there's that. Not everybody has everything, and I think oftentimes people misconceive when the giving culture in America, because you get a lot of people who come back to Africa, and whether it's through nonprofits, they're donating. People often think that these people are donating because they have so much money, but that's one of the things that sometimes is actually so far away from the truth. Because some people just give because they love to give, not because they have a lot. They give it from the heart. And so I got sponsored when I was growing up in Kenya. And I got sponsored by this family from Wisconsin. And when I came over to the US, then I you get to sit down with them and you look at their lives, they did not have very much.
Yeah.
But they gave out of, out of the goodness of their heart. And so that's maybe when people see, all these people, they call them Zungus, come to Africa and they are like giving. Sometimes it's like people think
that they got money.
People are giving because they have a lot of money. No, but some people just give. It's just that people, and then you look at people back home too. I always talk about this, is talk about my country, Kenya, which is one of the saddest things ever, is oftentimes you go into the slums, a slum, and you look at Kibera. Kibera, cross the road, and then you have Adams, Hurlingham, and it's often the rich facing the poor. But the rich never cross the road to go and try and help out the poor. Actually, you have people who live in, all these people who come from Western worlds, not that they have so much, but because they want to help. It's like they cannot stand to see a child sleeping hungry. And so I'm like, okay, I don't have very much, but whatever I have, I'm gonna give to try and help that kid get food for today, stay alive. But it's to me, that's the most mind-blowing thing, is you have people, actually rich people in Kenya, who they can't do anything for somebody, and the poor are just living by them on their doorsteps, and they can't do anything. They can't raise a hand to do that. So to me, that's one of the most puzzling things, is I feel like if people would, the rich that we have in Kenya, because it's like, or in Africa, because money is money. Like you talk about Africa, money only rests with a very few people, and then the rest, it's because like there's two classes: there's the people who have, the people who have not, the rich and the poor. And it's like the rich keep getting richer, the poor keep getting poorer. But you wouldn't get, not oftentimes you get not very many rich people cross over to help out the poor people. But then you have all these people who are coming on planes
to do it,
to be able to do it. I'm a story about, I try to go to people who had the money. They turned me down. I speak this from a personal perspective. I grew up poor. I would try and go and knock on these rich people's doors, because like, hey, I'm intelligent. I do well in school. Can you help me, finish my schooling and help me? Just help me. I just wanna go to school, get a good education so that I can help myself out of this. Oftentimes they turn you down. And this is a story, and it's one of the biggest. Yeah, to me, that's one of the things I have never really understood about
mind-blowing.
My people. Cool. So then you go through high school, and and then you went to college and finished college, and
it was a process. That was a process in itself, and it took years. It wasn't an easy 4 years over and done with, and I would say part of it was just being first generation to go to college. There was some stressors here. As I said, I was privileged to have both my parents. They're very supportive, and my dad is so keen on education. But it was a journey in itself, and been working on it and everything else as is. Ended up stopping for a while. The thing was, I never fully stopped, but I stopped. Meaning I still would take a class here and there, but I would stop, I'm like, is education really for me? But it was the battle of knowing what I wanted to do with my life. When I was young, I believed I was going to become a pharmacist. And I excelled in math and science classes. So I was like, oh, this is going to be an easy thing. Why did I want to be a pharmacist? Because there was this auntie, we call everyone auntie. There was this auntie who had a really nice house, and it was big, and it's not what I grew up in. And I'm like, I want that house. So I want to be a pharmacist. I got accepted to amazing schools. I did well in high school and everything. So I got accepted to a lot of wonderful schools. The financial aspect was difficult during that time as well. Because my parents not only catered to me and my brother, but they also catered to everyone back in Kenya. And that was, are you still here?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
I'm like disappeared.
No, I'm here. I
All
can
right.
hear. I can hear you. Keep talking.
All right. So they were catering not only to us but for their family back in Kenya. So financially it was a battle. Went to school for pharmacy, took the courses, and I did not like it at all. You know, I at the chemistry courses, I was like, oh, I did great in those here and there. But then it's like, this is not me. It's like, why am I building this lifestyle thinking this is what I want to be? And it's not, I'm not having any fun or any I'm not enjoying it, or it's not feeling, it's, I don't feel like I'm fitting into this thought process of me being this pharmacist I thought I would be. So we went through those battles of trying to figure out what I was gonna be. I was told nursing because that's one of the biggest known careers.
Yeah.
With our culture, our community. And I'm like, yeah, tried that. It was not for me either.
No.
I'm very businessy, and I'm very in leadership. I've gotten a lot of leadership opportunities within my work careers and everything. So I ended up doing human resources and business. Yeah. All that to get there. It was a battle to try to find where I fit in, but I'm a social person. I love working with people in hiring and getting people to, during those orientation, just to also place them into positions where it's meant for them. So when you're in a work environment and you're enjoying what you're doing, it's fulfilling. I work for a nonprofit for human resources. So so that it fulfills me. Yeah.
Cool. Wait, so did that like add on to the years you were in school?
Oh yeah.
So you started off in pharmacy. Like, how did you use any of the pharmacy classes in your HR, or did you have to start over again?
Start all over again.
Ah.
Yeah, only like the general ed courses.
But otherwise, it's kind of but it's good you actually realize that, and you were quick to say, hey, I went into this thinking that that's the kind of lifestyle I want, but I'm not actually having very much fun here.
Yeah.
That's good, because people actually go through with it. Like, okay, I'm not having fun, but the money, yeah.
It all adds up, and student loans, they all add up. And that's the biggest battle that's going on about student loans right now. And for me, I think what was beneficial was my parents were obviously disappointed. But they allowed me to work on that path to try to find myself and figure where I fit most, like fit in most.
Cool.
Yeah.
Did your parents want you to become something? Like, what did what your parents want you to become?
Mom was tugging me to be a nurse. Sorry, Mom. She was tugging for nursing. But then I think she also realized that her daughter is like, yeah, this one, I don't think I'm good in healthcare stuff. I've worked in a lot of like different healthcare jobs. And so she's like, you be perfect for this. You will always have a job. And I was like, Mother, we were fighting with that one. Yeah. Dad, on the other hand, he's just like, get an education. That's all we need. Do something. That's it. But my mom was like a little nudge here. But I understood. It's just she wanted me to have something that, something for myself, like a certificate or something, just acknowledge that. So I didn't understand, but years later.
True. I think to the older generation, I'm gonna say this is there are other careers other than nursing. I think anybody who's watching me here, I think the older generation, and a lot of times they advise people who come here that if you want money, go into nursing, but there's a lot more careers that you can, and sometimes it doesn't even have to do with money. It can be, something that you love doing. It's always good to do something that you love doing. So that's the one thing I would tell the older generation and parents. Don't force your kids to do nursing because you think nursing has the most amount of money. There are actually other professions that pay sometimes more than nursing. There's IT, there's finance, there's accounting, there's fashion, there's all those you can become a content creator if you're I know that was the older generation, like, those, because you have all these comedians that are making really good money out of comedy or out of their music. But back in the day, a lot of parents were like, that's not a career. You need to go do something serious.
Yeah.
But I think I'm sure a lot of people are coming to terms to realize that, if your kid is talented in something, can I help them along?
Build the talent. Build
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Really
Build them. Yeah. Because you have somebody who, you take a big comedian, and if they would have been forced to do nursing, they'd probably be very depressed now. And now they're doing great. Yeah, now they're doing great. True. So you're doing HR. How's HR? Like, what do you have any cool stories to tell about HR? Because what part of HR are you like in the recruiting people?
I do. I'm very diverse within that. I do the recruiting, I do the hiring, I do the orientation, I do trainings, I do whatever is needed for me to do because I work for 2 different HR positions, 2 companies, and each company has different positions for me. But I am the one who does the recruiting, the backgrounds checks, the trainings, orientation, making sure the benefits, not like, looking for different skill sets to manage everything for, like the payroll, along with like the system itself, the updates, all that. So it varies within that.
Okay. Well, like, because I'm thinking too, people come in here, and especially because we're speaking, most of the people, like my channel addresses are people who are maybe immigrants or people who are intending to immigrate to the US. What I like some of those things that in your time as a in human resource, like you would say to, do's and don'ts when it comes to jobs, interviews. Oh yeah, like do you have crazy stories about that?
I just have a interesting story. We had someone who was hired him, went through the ropes, everything. Good fit for the job. We believed, oh great, you will excel in this position. And then that day, actually, he did the training the first day. The second day, he did the training for a little bit, and then he had to leave early. On the third day, he sends us an email saying he's calling out sick, and called out sick.
Third day at work.
Yeah, third day at work, called out sick, and we're like, oh, maybe something happened, And then fourth day, we get an email saying he's resigning. And within that, he was already asking about the benefits. Like, it was very fitting and everything. But he didn't give it a chance. He didn't give his position a chance. He went there and he didn't give it a chance. And that was disappointing on that part. Because we're like, not everything is easy, and but everything can be adaptable at that point. But the excuses that came about were just they were just very disappointing.
Yeah.
They're very disappointing because we understand if you come in and then you're just like, I'm not a good fit, maybe that's another case. But I think self-awareness is key, and the blame was being blamed on other people, and the other people is because they couldn't speak like proper English, but not proper, you know what I mean? But like the English that you would think would be, and that was the disappointing part. It's a diverse crowd, and there's this language that, you know, everyone speaks a different language, and this is going back to how coming to America, speak a different language. But you taking that moment to adapt and just hear me out, because we're in a world where it's filled with different cultures and different languages, and everybody's just trying to fit in. But now you're blaming others because they're not speaking your English, and that was disappointing. That was a story that actually, because I was very happy about this new hire, and I had put in my all into it and everything, and it just ended up being very disappointing. Yeah.
And I think that too, does that like play then in your mind next time you get another candidate that is the same, and then it's like, are they gonna turn out the same as the other one that, you know, we hired? I think that kind of plays.
It does.
You know, but and so it's like what you do might actually affect other people who will come later on. Yeah.
And I feel like yeah, it will definitely affect it. Even if you try to say that it won't, it definitely will affect. It will affect the whole hiring process again. But we're just hoping that, and you don't want to judge somebody. Somebody else can come. We're gonna treat them the same. Work on it and see how it goes. If they end up disappointing, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. But I believe in the hiring process for new people. Go be yourself. I feel like that's key. And tell them who you are in that moment, just what you're willing to learn from it, and being honest. Like, okay, I just came from Kenya, I may not speak, you know,
the best English.
Yeah, but this is who I am. I'm willing, the willingness to learn.
Yeah, very true, very true. So just be yourself. It's like, let them see who you are. And it's because oftentimes I feel like you might like be handicapped in the way you speak. Maybe your accent is super thick, but your personality kind of covers.
Yeah,
covers for you. And yeah, that's so true. That's so true. Yeah. When people start to interview, I think a lot of times, you want to speak a fake accent, that just speak your English. Because then be who you are. Let them see who you are when you interview. And so, because even you, oftentimes people will listen to you.
Yeah.
And but also it's always good to kind of, you know, you live in America now. It's always good to try and learn, you know, learn the language that people speak. It kind of helps you. It helps you, especially when we are minorities here. It's the unfortunate thing, especially with, you know, speaking from corporate America. It's not very forgiving. So it's one of the hardest things. You know, you kind of need to learn the lingo, learn the industry, and adapt and go along with it. Yeah, cool. Thank you for that. So you had a life-changing moment.
I did.
Why don't you tell us about that?
Actually, it was like during my 20s. I call it I'm not gonna say testimony 20s. That's what I say. Because there was a lot of things that happened within, I think from 23 until now. At first, my mom was hit by a truck in Kenya. Yeah, we had gone to Kenya for vacation in December, and she was hit by a truck on a day where we were going to pick up my grandmother's body from the mortuary. So it was a very trying moment, and I think it was a scary moment. We were all there. And she's good now. She's great. She's walking and everything. But
That's good. That's good.
it was scary. It was scary having to deal with that. A couple years after, I also got into a car accident here in America. Oh, the accident for my mom was in Kenya.
Okay, but
Yeah,
your accident was
my
here.
yeah.
Okay, what year was that?
For my mom or
No,
myself?
yours. Oh,
Oh,
either. Both of them. Both of them.
my mom's was 2018
Okay.
and 21.
Yours was 2021.
Yeah.
What happened?
I was driving and somebody cut me off on the highway, and I ended up trying to stop and break myself before, so I don't hit their car. And then I ended up hitting the guardrail. And within that, I ended up I was okay. I ended up jumping out of the car, but I was just bleeding from my ear. And everything was like the adrenaline
Mhm.
was high. And the ambulance came. I ended up checking my vitals, but I wanted my brother. I didn't want to go to the hospital by myself. So when they were towing the car, they ended up taking it to a gas station. And at that gas station, I had contacted my brother to come and get me. And I passed out 2 times. And the tow truck guy got scared. So he called the ambulance and said, "You're going to the hospital. It's okay. He'll find you there." And before I continue with that, is when you do get into an accident, whether minor or major, well, major, of course, you're going to go to the hospital. But even as minor as it can be, I would recommend for sure go to the hospital.
Get checked out.
Get checked out. My intentions were when the first ambulance took my vitals, I was okay. I seemed okay. They said I was okay. And that's why they gave me the choice of going to go with my brother. If my brother had picked me up, who knows, the house and relaxed and took a nap or something. But I ended up finding out that I have internal bleeding. And when they checked me, they thought it was my spleen, but it ended up being my small intestine. So I went to emergency surgery, and they took out 13 centimeters of my small intestine. And then they closed me up. A week, I wasn't getting any better. I had the pipes from my nose that were just functioning me, and I was just not getting any better, and I was throwing up. And I ended up having another surgery where they had to open me up again, and they took 28 centimeters then from my small intestine again. And from then on, I stayed in the hospital for almost a month, practically a month, um, not eating. I lost, I believe it was like 18 pounds. I was having they called it an ice diet because I couldn't even drink water. I had to take cup full of ice, dip a little sponge in there, and just like
Squeeze it in.
mouth.
Oh, not even squeeze it. It just rub it.
Rub it around my mouth to keep myself moisturized from it. Yeah.
Oh wow. Wait, so you talking about, wait, is it 17 centimeters the first time, or how many centimeters?
13 centimeters.
So 13 and 28.
Yeah.
Okay, that's like 41 centimeters.
Yeah.
Well, maybe educate us for some of us who like might not be very good in biology. Small intestines, they take 41 centimeters. Does that mean like, does that how, like, do they, is that do
Can I
they
live without it?
intestines? Yeah, like, do you have any intestines?
I could live with it. Its small intestine it's pretty large. It's a large. I can't remember how many centimeters it is in total, but it was a pretty large. Like it's pretty large, so it doesn't fully affect me. The only time it affected me was during like the healing process, and um because it's my digestive system. It's my abdominals. It's everything there. So that was the only effect. But I can live without it, without those ones. Um, it helped. It helped. It helped a little bit here and there. I crack a joke every time. I'm like, I wanted to go through a weight loss journey. I said I wanted to lose weight. I ended up losing weight, without going to the gym. So I tried to stay on the positive moment of it, but it was the healing process itself was horrible. But I'm okay.
How long did it take you to like get better? And
So that happened in October. I left the hospital November 20, the day before Thanksgiving. They wanted me out. They're like, you need to go have Thanksgiving at home. You can't be in the hospital any longer. So once from then, I had like a wound vacuum where it was trying to suction my stomach to like close the scar in. I don't recommend it. It's horrible. I hated that process. And from then on, I was recovering and getting care until towards I think I was fully like back to walking by myself without a walker and needing support, all that by April. Yeah, by
from
April.
so from October to April is
Yeah.
when you wait, so you said what's the this, because like is this, you said the wound suction?
The wound vacuum.
What is that?
And so it's like it's how do I explain it? It's like a vacuum that they have like a pipe that's inside. It's suctioning the liquid to dry up. So it suctions your blood
Okay.
and it tries to close in. Since I was sliced open, it was like this open. They had to suction it and dry it off for it to close and get it to close form into a scar.
Okay.
So it's
Okay.
just all the liquid dries it out and then just suctions it closer and gets it tighter and tighter and tighter so it can fully close into the.
Okay. But you say you said you wouldn't recommend that?
No, I just said it was painful.
Oh,
It's the best. It's the best thing, but
that's
for
the
me,
best
it's
thing. Okay.
the worst experience ever. I don't. Yeah, it
Ah,
was not my favorite experience whatsoever. One of the nurses came to change it, and they have like a sponge that goes inside the scar, and the sponge got stuck inside the scar, and I think it's at that moment I cried because she had to. It took 2 hours for her to pull it out.
wait, like it fell through?
It was just stuck on the scarring inside. So because it was stuck on the inside of the wounds, so now she's trying to pull it out. It was horrible. And then I had trauma from that. So every time I knew she was coming, I would just have
Oh, like you feel
bad.
stuck in your.
I would just have anxiety. My like heart rate will go up. Just hearing the doorbell, knowing it's her, I'm just. It was just. Yeah, it was
No.
very
Oh.
painful.
So
But
so April you start feeling better,
yeah.
but it's like how is it? And I think maybe you can speak to somebody maybe who's going through that right now, who's maybe you got into an accident or whatever you're going through is an ailment, or how is that? Because I feel like that's a lot of months in hospital.
So we were going. So I was back home. They allowed me to come home, but I had VNA care, where
Okay.
the nurse will come and do the
Oh,
changes.
back
I
home.
will-
Okay.
yeah, and then I'll go to the hospital maybe once a week or twice a week. I think we were doing twice a week, where they will go to check that everything is healing as is. Having that opportunity of being in my own house, it helped. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. It's
Yeah.
very large.
Yeah.
22 feet. It's big. So it didn't have yeah,
It didn't, yeah. Okay.
and
So
too much.
that's a lot of centimeters. I didn't know. I learned something today. It could be
Yeah.
as long as, man, in your stomach, 850
It,
centimeters. It,
it's
wow.
like, and you're like, really? So when they were cutting, you're like, oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay.
But getting that opportunity of being home, that was very helpful. I had I had a good support system. So my parents, my aunts, everyone was able to help me out and help provide care for me. But the mental part of it, it was questioning like why me? What did I do to deserve this? There was a lot more negativity in my mind a little bit. I try to remain positive and hopeful that I was granted another opportunity to, to be here on this earth.
Yeah.
But it was you have to remind yourself even during those tough times, like, okay, I'm here. This is the situation I'm in. How do I adapt and grow out of it? And just also, if you do have a good support system, one thing I feel, we don't want to ask for help. Sometimes there's certain areas in life where you feel like you don't want to ask for help, but asking for that help, that helped out a lot. And it it helps within my healing process and understanding that you can't do it alone.
You can do it alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. So it was good. And then I ended up getting a scar revision in November, and that helped out a lot more too, because every time I gained weight, my scar was too tight. It was very uncomfortable. So they had to do a scar revision in November, and that was a quick surgery. That was a quick one. And from then on, I've been okay. I just have to work out and get the core strength, because it's not where it used to be.
Yeah.
And just build back my body, and just tell everybody, like, it was a difficult time, but I definitely am happy to be where I'm at now. It taught me a lot, and it enlightened me. Yeah.
Cool. Well, that's good. Thank you for having that outlook, because I know that can be tough, especially when, because like, you can't go to work, you can't do anything. You just, that downtime can be very damaging, I think, mentally.
Mentally, and it's after COVID too, so it's like we've been during COVID.
Oh, you were stuck in COVID, and so that when it's like time for you to actually start going out, then you're like also stuck now. Oh,
And just sometimes I had to wait for somebody to come help me up, because even getting out of bed, you use this part of your body to pull you
buddy.
up. um Even as simple as going to the bathroom, I needed like that support to do all that. So it's just like, it was yeah, it was a tough one, but I'm happy to look back at that memory and be like, whoa, look where you are now.
Oh, cool.
And don't take it for granted.
Don't take. Well, yeah, I was gonna ask you, what's kind of like the biggest thing to come out of this? It was sometimes in its life we go through, bad situations, traumas, and accidents, or just storms in life. What is the one thing that you came out of this with?
um have faith. Have faith. um for me, I was having conversations with God frequently, and I think before my second surgery, I was like, God, take me now. This is not, just take me, because this is horrible. I can't do this. Have faith, and just be, I know it's so hard to say this, but remain positive. For me, in the hospital, I was cracking jokes with the nurses just to enlighten the mood, and like, make a smart comment. For me, make a smart comment here and there, just to lighten up your mood. Just don't dwell in negativity, um because that will swallow, as you said, it will swallow you. So my thing was try to remain positive and definitely have faith.
Ah, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Was there's something awesome that came out of that, like a dream that you wanted to do when you were young? But before we tackle that, I think that's we can finish with that. Uh, did you want to maybe talk about your parents and what they do? Your parents have a ministry in Kenya.
Yeah.
Uh,
My
yeah.
dad, so I grew up as a pastor's kid, along the other struggles. No, I'm just kidding. It's not a struggle. It was just,
Wait, yeah, it is. It's a. Is it a struggle to grow up as a pastor's kid? Because like
you
you're supposed to live in a, like, there is people are watching you.
pressure. And that's one thing that contributed to a lot of my, I think, my choices. is because having so many people look at you or say you are a pastor's kid, this is how you should be. I don't want to say I missed out on certain things in life, but I always second guessed myself just because I really paid attention to what people's perspective or what people thought of me. And that really does affect you, because anything you're doing, you're worried about what other people are thinking of you. Like, what are they thinking I'm doing? Like, why they're judging me? Am I a disappointment? You're somehow being a pastor's kid. It's like you end up being a role model and you don't end up being a kid. And it was a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pressure. Even if I made a mistake, even though there's a kid right next to me made the same exact mistake.
Yours will be.
Yeah, mine was the worst.
Yeah.
I was a criminal. I'm just kidding. But um, but yeah, my dad is a pastor and grew up in ministry. And within that, he going back to people who don't have much in America but give back in Kenya. He was one of those people. And I was able to bear witness to that. He came to America without anything, but he traveled back and worked on an org called Focus that community till this day. Yeah, it's rural.
What does Focus stand for?
Families, orphans, children under stress.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And so he started that? You said he started that in Kenya. What year was that?
He started in 1999. It was within the community, but it became registered in America in 2002. It's now it's a nonprofit, and it just focused on with the orphans, vulnerable children, and building up the community, and both in ministry and in the education and health aspect of it too. Yeah. So it's going back to Kenya. Every time we've gone back, we've gone to minister with them. As you've heard, when my parents and my brother gave out the shout out, they did a missions trip with our church, where they go and work with the community, travel to schools and empower the students, give you uniforms to the kids within the like not the orphanage, but the kids who are the vulnerable children who are within the center, within Focus. And it's just, do meal preps or pass out food, and also gain more donors and sponsors to help children who are not able to afford education or even not able to afford lunch.
I know I interviewed Katosis like is it a couple weeks ago maybe, and he said because in his story he was sharing and he talked about Focus and that he worked with Focus, and so so like is Focus is it in one area in Kenya, or is it countrywide in Kenya?
It's in Ruiru. I know I'm gonna butcher it for how I say Ruiru, but it's in Ruiru.
Ruiru.
My R is worth the way. It's in Ruiru. Yeah. But the churches are also within this ministry there are churches, but there's churches in Mombasa and a whole different aspects of it. But the whole Focus itself is in Ruiru.
Okay. So for someone who's like, would be interested in maybe helping or like maybe looking for help, how would you advise them to go about that?
We have a website. It's focusdreamcenter.org.
Focus Dream Center, you said?
Yeah, Focus Dream Center. Even if you just Google that, you'll see it.
Okay, actually, no, yeah, you can keep talking. I'll bring it up on the screen.
Yeah, and it's even volunteering, and there's been even more benefits coming out of it. There's a vocational school that was started. There's water sanitation projects going on. So within all that, there's a whole bunch of different programs that everybody can find a way to fit in. Even volunteering, there's chapati forums that my uncle Roman Yanjui runs, you know.
Chapati forum. What's chapati forum?
Yeah, chapati forums, they go cooking chapos in whether it be schools, whether it be the prison, whether it be communities for the elderly. Just go cooking chapos, get a whole bunch of youth, and then they go cook chapos and
They go cook chapos.
and meal together. Yeah, and everyone's there eating a meal together. That's something I enjoy too.
That's cool. So I'm gonna share as you can keep talking.
Yeah. So
is this this is the right website? Right?
Yeah, that's the right website. That man right there in the middle is my father.
Oh wait, did he? Oh, this one here?
No, he's sitting down with the students.
This is your dad.
That's my dad. That's Pastor Samuel Karaoke. Well, Reverend Samuel Karaoke.
Okay.
Yeah, and actually, we were on that trip. We had gone on that trip together.
Okay.
We were out uniforms to students right there, and it was during COVID. That was actually I believe that was in 2021. Yeah, that was in 2021 July. You'll see my mom over there as well.
Wait. So wait, which one is your dad? Is this your dad or?
No, that one is dad. That one.
This one is your dad.
And that's
is that your mom? Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're young.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He just turned 50.
Wait, who's this? Who looks like your dad? He's like.
I don't know if that's my uncle. That's Uncle Roman.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because you can almost confuse them if you're like.
Yeah, that's his baby brother. So dad has, in total, they're 10 kids. So I think, yeah, dad is 3 and the other one, Uncle Roman, I believe he's like number 7. But
okay. So I see you have the orphans and vulnerable children, OVC care and support.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Prepare mentorship.
Prepare mentorship. That's the one that I'm very much like. That's where I'm involved. That centers with the youth, motivating the youth and just uplifting them and trying to guide them into making the best choices for their lives.
Cool.
And that's the platform that I've chosen, as we'll end up having a conversation. That's the platform that I hope to represent for Miss Kenya, that I am representing for Miss.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Then there's a Chapati Forum. We talked about the psychosocial support.
Yeah. So within the psychosocial is just to help within the community. So just anything, just, chapatis is something that, well, growing up in Kenya for many people, was something that was only seen within the holiday season. Yeah, just to offer that during other days other than the holiday, and just gathering together to enjoy that meal.
Okay, cool. And I think I saw food rationing. What's food rationing?
Food rationing. So they have moments where they get unga, they get rice, and they just are rationing the bags and stuff, and people are handed those food. So they have days where they're able to pass out that food to feed many people. Whoever comes to those days that are set, they come and they end up going home with unga, with rice, beans.
So I see the Focus Dream Center Vocational and Technical Training College. Is that coming up? It looks like it's coming up. Is that already started, or?
It's actually already running. We had our first graduation we have a CNA course.
Okay.
I have an instructor who is here in America, and she does Zoom sessions with the Kenya. And that actually, back in July, probably like 2 weeks ago, they had the first class graduate as CNAs.
Okay. So if those people, like when they do CNAs, can they is there like licenses or whatever? Is it a license they get?
You get a certificate. You get a certificate signed by the professor from here, along with the one who helps with the practicals back there, and I believe even my dad. And you're certified as a certified nurse assistant, and you're able to use that to get a job in Kenya. And most of the practicals that they have, they end up going to here we call them nursing homes. I don't know exactly what we call them in Kenya. Maybe it's the same, where they go and care for the elderly.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome. Is it just CNAs? Is it
No,
only CNA, or do they have more than that?
they have different courses within it too. They
Okay.
have I believe driving will also be included in that. Business is included in that, and of course ministry.
Cool, cool. So is it like, so how is it like a training college? Is that like, is it a regular school? Do you guys have sponsorships, or how does that work? Like,
It's practically like what we have here, a vocational school, where people apply for it and then they pay for it.
and then
I'll
they
say one because it's the most recent one. It's a 6-month course, including the practical aspect of it and then the education aspect of it.
okay.
So it's you taking a course through, and then you end up getting your graduation, or you end up graduating as well.
Cool, cool. What about helping? Because it's a non-profit. Like,
Oh,
if someone wants to help, how can they do that?
oh, there's a once within the website you can whether you want to sponsor, whether you want to donate, whether you want to be involved or volunteer, it should be there, and you could reach out within that as well.
So if they want to donate, there's a donate. Oh, it's covered by my picture there.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So if they want to help out, there's ways to do that. You can do it with CashApp. You can do it with your M-Pesa. And
PayPal, all that. And if you want to volunteer, it's very good. You should volunteer. It makes a difference. I think that's the part that I enjoy the most. It's that you're there helping out
volunteering. Okay.
when possible. If you want to sponsor a student as well, it's $30 a month if you're able to, or however much you're able to. You can do a one-time donation, or you can do a frequent one on a monthly basis. And you can choose a child that you'll just reach out within, I believe, the email, and you can choose who you would like to
Sponsor. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. GJS is saying Katosis mentioned Focus Dream Center in his life journey in rural. It's a coin. It's not. It's actually it's the same Focus Dream Center that Katosis
Was it?
worked. Yeah,
That's
was involved in.
how I met him. It was an amazing opportunity to meet him. They came here. They were here in Massachusetts for a while.
Okay.
Yeah, it was amazing to be involved with them. They even helped out with a lot of programs here in America, just
Cool.
in of what goes on in Kenya.
Cool. So then, yeah. So you let's talk about something that you're doing now that I think came out of the your accident that you had in 2021.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us about Miss Kenya USA, how that came about, and how we can help.
Oh, yes. So after going through that tragic accident that resulted in a testimony, I believe, during that moment of recovery, you have enough time to think about everything you've done in your life and what you want to do more in your life. I wanted to do modeling years back. My parents were not able to afford it at that particular moment. And just moved on from that. I didn't even consider thinking about it. I love fashion. I like dressing up, doing all that. And that till this day, that's still part of me. But while I was recovering, a Miss Kenya flyer appeared on social media, scrolling. And one of things you need to do is have a platform to represent. I was going on a missions trip to Kenya to continue within the Focus Dream Center, the volunteering, the missions that we do. And sorry. And I ended up applying for Miss Kenya, and I was chosen as a candidate to run for Miss Kenya USA. And it's exciting. It's nerve-wracking, but it's also a journey towards building up my confidence. I believed I lost my confidence a while ago, and it's a challenge too. It's very challenging. So I wanted to challenge myself and follow the challenge, not give up midway, because we tend to do that sometimes. So I got involved in it, and now I'm running for Miss Kenya USA, and it's gonna be on Saturday, August 5th, in Houston, Texas.
Ah.
Yeah.
And you're participating in it.
Yes.
Ah. So if people wait, is there a way? Do they stream that, or how does that work?
They're not gonna stream, but it's gonna be on after. It will be posted on YouTube.
Or we posted. Is
Yeah.
this your first ever modeling?
Yeah, it's my first pageant. I've done fashion shows, like mini fashion shows within the community and during school and all those events. But this is my first full-on pageant. Yeah. And it's very it's scary. It's scary because it's putting me in a vulnerable place where I have to present myself in front of everybody, and it's scary.
No, it's exciting. I'm excited. I'm excited for you. Is so how, like, what's that process of competing in a
In a pageant.
yeah yeah
In that there's different layers of this pageant. So you have you're shown for your gown, you have a talent segment, you have your traditional, you have to wear a traditional outfit and wear everyone sees and votes on it. You have interviews with the judges, and it's just, you also have to be able to represent your platform and share what you are, represent your platform and show what you're working towards or what your goals will be after becoming Miss Kenya USA. So it just doesn't stop at the crown. It's something that continues on. It empowers young women to not look at the beauty aspect of life, but also, do whatever is in their hearts and help out within the community.
ah
Yeah.
cool. Is this the right website?
Yes, it is.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So this it's cool because I know some of these women.
You know.
Yeah, I know Marion and Fozia.
Oh,
The prince. Yeah.
Fozia won. Yeah, I believe Miss Kenya USA in 2015.
Ah,
Yeah.
wait, that's cool. Did she do it in like a bui bui?
I'm not sure. I believe she did it here.
Ah, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Ah, so and this year's event will be in Houston,
It'll
right?
be this. Yes.
Cool. Is it a long process, the application process?
The application process, it wasn't too long. You apply, you get interviews. We had 2 interviews. You share about platforms, you share about your upbringing, and then once chosen, you go through the journey of working towards it. You have to raise finances towards your organization. You have to come up with a plan of what you will intend to do if you win if you win the crown, but even if you don't win the crown, how you will use the knowledge you gain to help the platform, to help your platform or whatever platform you're representing.
Okay. And I see, I pulled up, like, they have like eligibilities.
Yeah, we have to be Kenyan in order to run for this.
You have to have at least one parent from Kenya.
Mm-hmm.
Ties there. Must be at least 18 years old. Applicants so you have to be under 35. They
Yeah.
actually have a
Mm-hmm.
age, right?
Yes, which that is a higher age gap than most pageants. Most pageants even stop at 27. So the fact that Miss Kenya allows it to be up to 35, it you know, it gives people who might have given out on who might have given up or never who wanted to do pageantry, or maybe just like me, were not granted that opportunity, particularly at that time. They give, you know, maybe a 33-year-old who it was once a dream, they can make it a reality. So seeing that the age bracket is up to 35, it's very,
That's cool.
very
That's cool.
yeah.
This is awesome. This is awesome. So you said you get the opportunity to kind of like raise money for your charity.
Yes.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
so we create GoFundMe accounts,
Okay.
and set up a price within that, and you raise money to the best of capabilities and get all the support that you can, and then you use some for the pageantry, like the pageantry journey, and then along with that you give an amount to the platform.
Ah, cool, cool. So how can people support you? Is it a week? It's a week
It's a
from
week,
now.
you know. I would love to
Yeah.
come, but definitely there is a GoFundMe account, which we could link that, and then
Okay.
there is a voting link. The voting link is not for the main crown, but it's for People's Princess, which is just the engagement of you and other people, so people can vote there.
Okay.
Oh, pray for me and just wish me good luck. That's needed. I haven't danced in a while, and that's my talent. And so I've been over here practicing dance routines. So so
Yo,
definitely
wait, what kind of dancing you do?
Afrobeat type,
Afrobeat?
yeah, Afrobeat type dancing and
Wow.
hip here and there. But this time around, it might mix the two. I'm still trying to perfect the choreography, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
it's been hard, especially when you haven't danced in a while. You're like, oh, my knees.
yeah, yeah. I'm not gonna put you on the spot. I was gonna like, hey, bust a move for us. Come on. I could put some.
Like, well, you can see me on YouTube next
You-
for me.
they can watch you. They can watch you. Because I think they post the. Do they call? Is it the pageantry?
Yeah, the pageant. Yeah, they
Yeah, the
post.
pageant. Okay, okay,
Yeah,
they post it so people can be able to watch. And yeah, I think on the video after we're done, you can send me the links and I can put the links on the GoFundMe and the voting so
mm,
that everybody who watches this can be able to vote
yeah,
for you. Yeah, but that's exciting. That's exciting. We'll
it
be
is.
rooting. We'll be rooting for you. And anybody in Houston or going to Houston this weekend,
Come
is it?
through. I
Yeah.
will send you the ticket. I'll also send you the link to get the tickets for entry,
Okay.
and definitely. And then come have a good time. Come have a good time, because we just want to get positivity and just just show the empowerment of young women working towards not just the beauty aspect of it, because that's a competitive, but just to see wonderful women opening up their hearts to better certain areas within this world that we have.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's exciting. That's exciting. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for you to be doing this. And maybe this will not be it'll be the beginning of yeah.
Oh, I definitely hope so. It's working on the confidence and the challenging yourself. I think that's what I'm taking from this. Not giving up on dreams that may have been when you were 6, 7, 8 years old, 13 years old. Like,
That's
if you dream about it, you could somewhat make it into a reality if you
you can
wish.
make it. Yeah. No, you're actually doing it. You're
You
actually
got to.
a week
You,
away. That's exciting. That's awesome. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for, coming through and sharing your story with us. I think you're bringing a totally unique perspective to things. I think a lot of you made me speak English. I've spoken more English here than I have in a minute. Like on live, I speak English on a daily basis. I have to speak English
your
pretty much.
viewers were asking about your English, so you brought it up for them.
Yeah. I try. I will like I've been in this struggle not to go deep in, because here sometimes when you kind of have to you have the way you speak, sometimes it's so annoying to speak naturally like the way you learned English,
Yeah.
because people not get it. People will not understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
So annoying for people to keep telling you, what did you say again?
Come
What was that? Come again? Come again? Oh, man. And that's why people change accents when they come here and people ask, oh, people say, oh, ati anaringa, eh,
yeah.
oh, prideful and stuff, but it's like it's almost a necessity to be heard. It's like you want to be heard. You don't have to keep repeating yourself over and over again. It's exhausting. It's exhausting.
Yeah.
That's
That's
why
true.
we have to adapt and speak that way, because otherwise, yeah. Otherwise, when you bring in all your thick accent, hey, yeah,
But wait, hold on. I didn't hear you.
yeah, yeah. And then often it depends on what industry you're in. Sometimes they like even consider that incompetence, which is like crazy to be like, oh, you can't speak good English, and so it's kind of like your communication skills are not as good, but it's yeah. But that's because we live in a foreign country. Unfortunately, not
That's
everybody will be able to listen to your thick, Luo, Kisi, Kikuyu accent. Kind of
mm-hmm.
like yeah, yeah. So I do public speaking,
Wow.
and so I moved from Kenya, and the only English I kind of spoke was when they forced us to speak English,
Yeah.
like made us wear monto. I say monto. I think that kind of ages me up. People who know monto, the people, yeah, 80s babies know what montos are. And so I came in here, and then I started speaking for Compassion.
Mm-hmm.
It's the nonprofit that kind of actually helped me when I was growing. They're the ones who actually took me to the University of Nairobi,
Yeah.
and so I started speaking. I started speaking like in front of. They would send me to events, and I would
Yeah.
speak to all these Americans, and I did like I came to know later on, like from speaking to the people who heard me speaking from the beginning, and
Mm-hmm.
they were telling me that they would not hear everything that I was saying. They would
Yeah.
hear one word and then miss out on three words, hear one
Oh,
word, and then like try and
that sounds.
combine all those words they had to be like, okay, so is this and you can imagine that's like,
Oh
man,
no.
that's lost in communication because
Yeah.
of the thick accent. So
Yeah.
this older lady, oh, dear, she's awesome, very good heart, and she really struggled because okay, she was older, she couldn't hear very well,
Mm,
and she's struggling. So like when normal people are hearing one word, missing three, hearing another word, she
yeah.
probably couldn't hear very much. So she said, I'm really struggling to hear you. And
Yeah.
so she paid for me to go like take some speech therapy classes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Oh, that's so kind. Oh my goodness.
I know. It was like, because I'm like, I wasn't offended that, she wanted to hear me. There's
Yeah,
like,
that's amazing. She didn't
so I
brush you
did.
off.
Yeah.
She. Oh, that's great.
And
She
that
up.
that actually has been really good for me. I took speech therapy classes,
Mhm.
learning American English. Oh my gosh, American English is really difficult.
So difficult.
There's like so many vowels, the way you say things. I mean, I still struggle. You can still, I don't think you can ever get rid of your accent, which
hmm
I'm not looking forward to getting rid of my accent. I think I love my accent just the way it is, but
Yeah.
it makes a whole lot of difference for you. Because now, like I've been speaking for 10 plus years in front of huge crowds,
Yeah.
and it's really helped me. And now one of the most thing that people say is like, we really love I we love the way you speak here, but it's because I took those speech therapy
No.
classes, having to keep saying all those words,
Oh,
because like British English, when we were learning English, we learned the vowels are a, e, I, o,
mm-hmm.
u.
It's
and,
the
and then
accent.
American English is like, oh my gosh. Yeah.
It's,
It's crazy. It's crazy. So that's interesting. That's the reason why I think people ask, why do people change accents?
hmm
We change accents because we want people to hear what we're saying.
Yeah.
You don't want to be speaking to somebody and they're only hearing one word and then missing everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're not able to get your point across too, unfortunately.
Yeah. So we can look at there's quite a lot of comments that came in, but I think your family is watching you.
Nice.
Yeah.
Love.
Do you know Liz?
Uh.
Kamau? Is Liz Kamau? Is that
Oh,
someone who is?
hi, Liz. Hi,
Yeah.
Elizabeth. That's my mom. Yeah.
Oh wait, Liz is your mom?
Yes, mom.
Oh, okay. She did send yeah, it's like this oh, that's my sister.
Hi.
That's my sister. Watching me from DC. In Juja. We have people from all over. So it's
Oh, please. I would love that. I'm
yeah.
ready. I'm
So
ready.
yeah, there's someone wants to teach you how to speak Swahili and Sheng.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm tired of being the friend being left out.
Of the like you can hear but you can't actually speak it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So your mom is saying Shosho and all you and 9 of them are watching in Kenya.
Yeah. My Fafas, the Fafa Morning, the big ones. So, hi, guys. I love you all.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, but yeah, a lot of people are thankful. Thank you. They're like,
that's my uncle. Oh, my uncle. That's Roman Nyanjui, the one who does a lot in Kenya. He's in Kenya.
okay, that's not the uncle that hosted you, right?
No.
That's a different one.
Yeah, that's the one in Kenya. The one in the picture previously.
Yeah.
He's like my mentor. He helps me out because he works with Pepe a lot. So teaches me.
That's cool.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much.
So yeah, lots of good comments. Thank you so much.
Mutai hard. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, people are saying thank you. We hear you. Thank you for sharing your story with us. I think it was a very good session. Really, it was good for me to learn some. I took things from this, especially being a parent of this Kenyan kids that cannot speak Swahili.
Yeah.
So I think it was helpful for me. I think it's always good to hear from somebody who's been through that. But thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming through, and I will be cheering for you. Yeah, and I'll post those links when you send them on this video so that anybody else who watches this video can be able to see them. Yeah. So thank you for coming through. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, and appreciate the what God is doing in your life, and the woman that God is forging you out to be. So thank you so much for coming through. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Just opening up your platform and just welcoming me to the Kenyan American home. I appreciate it. I do feel at home for sure. And it's a privilege just to even have these conversations. You enlighten my mind and you help in my growth as well. And I take perspective from what you know, and I learn from that. And just even getting people to encourage you, that makes you hopeful in life, and you don't give up. You have some people backing you up. So this was definitely an amazing opportunity, and I'm very grateful for it. Very grateful.
Thank you. Baraka sana. Leave us with some Kikuyu.
Ay, okay. Nidimwedete muno. Nioka kumwariria. Shosho nera watch kogo niko geria kumwariria todo if she's there.
Era soso kaudo.
Bujere shosho. Shosho nigwedete. na haria de ni todo wawe awa jeri de te dama o domere na no dira go domera ono goro ne pageant ne beauty ne guo de do ko da te ne ko dete mam na papa ni de mo dete na karaoke anko afa na auntie ni de mo dete, and even the viewers of A Kenyan American Home the dark and yeah, even just yeah. Done.
That's awesome. Thank you, Rose.
Thank you all.
Sawa. Well, yeah, watu wangu, that was a kizungu wacha tukimalizia wacha niongee lugha ni nini. Hey, kizungu nimeongea karibu kizungu yote leo. watu tutanini sijui wale watu hawashikanishi kizungu, sijui tutawatranslatea ama ni aje. But thank you so much by the way for support mnanipatia. Asanteni kwa kusikiza mazee. Ati mpaka nimechoka. Kuna watu hawajanizoea nikiongea kizungu. But ilikuwa session poa sana mazee. Kama umehata, by the way, video itakuwa saved hapa kwa YouTube channel yangu. Na mazee, mimi nawapenda sana. God azidi kuwa bless. God azidi kuwa bless. Kama unanijoin hapa hivi na ni mara yako ya kwanza kunijoin, ujaingia kwa channel yangu, I have a lot of content by the way. Kama ways za kukuja mujaribu kuchimba nachimba so many other ways people are not talking about. Unaweza tumia kukuja hapa nini. Najaribu kuambia pia ukikuja hapa hivi some of the ways utatumia ndio succeed, because kukuja hapa ndio America ni land of opportunities, but there's so many things that utakuja hapa, life hapa ni so different than life mtaa. So na ni poa upate mse anakuambia, mse at least ameishi amekapitia, atakwambia hapo mtu wangu usipo nini hapo utakanyaga, hapo utaanguka kwa hiyo shimo. So hiyo ndio ati mtu anauliza is she your wife? No, that's not my wife. wife yangu kama hujamuona ukienda kwa video zangu utamuona. Wife yangu ni wa hapa. But yeah, asanteni sana by the way. Asanteni. Links nitaweka na thank you so much for your support. Watu wangu wa TikTok, mbarikiwe mazee mpaka mshangae. Until next time mazee. Till next time, hii session ilikuwa fiti. Mbarikiwe mpaka mshangae. Barikiweni mpaka mshangae. Aya, watu wangu wa YouTube si ni hivyo watu wangu. Na ni hivyo. Na kama kawaida keep it locked mazee. Subscribe kama hujapiga subscribe, alafu content nitawaletea. Bado na nini ya kuwaletea by the way. So barikiweni sana and have a good day. Until next time wazee. Sini hivyo. Na kamenyuria. Fiti man.